Morning guys, Moon here. Today I just want to give a quick insight into my Blood Sacrament version. It doesn't deviate too much from the known versions that are kind of popular, but I thought I'd talk about some options I have looked into and some ideas of what you can do, different approaches to the build. So for one, I was experimenting with Pride and Petrified Blood. Overall, Petrified Blood is like the basic version that mostly is played. From what I've seen, it makes the character quite a bit more tanky because when we are getting hit, we don't lose all health instantly. We are more or less twice as tanky with the Petrified Blood version, so if you want to play this character as a mapper or something, I would highly recommend the Petrified Blood version. However, I do play this character as a pure bosser with farming Conqueror maps, Feared, Sanctum and stuff like that. And I was working with the hybrid version with Old's Uprising and the Pride in the helmet, together with Berserk and Enhance, to make it not cost any mana, so we can have Pride and Petrified Blood despite using an Essence Worm. However, I have felt not exactly needing the Petrified Blood. While I do notice some more death than previously, the damage increase from an Eyes of the Greld Wolf with crit multiplier and increased maximum life is really much, so that it seemed very worth it to me to use this. Also, when we use Pride, we can use a Watcher's Eye with different options depending on if you want to use the Rage or the Impale version. Because for the Rage version, where do I have it? I was using an chance to deal double damage and increase physical damage, Watcher's Eye. And for the for the Impale version, we use the chance to deal double damage and impales you inflict last 2 additional hits for the very big boys. So that we can get a little bit more damage in when it comes to multiple player HP Luqas, Feareds and other uber bosses, or uber elder and stuff like that. However, for clearing, I would highly recommend the Camp Spirit. Also, what I am changing when going for the Pride version, I am using a Sublime Vision. We're getting some explosions, but those are kinda irrelevant. They aren't really noticeable. However, we're getting up to 40% increased effect of Pride, which is pretty good. And yeah, I use this for doing high bossing and challenges and stuff like that. However, for clearing, the version I would highly recommend is the Calm Spirit version with this Storm Shroud. I could probably take out another Jewel for this, but yeah, for bossing I don't really need the avoidance to elemental elements, so I kinda don't care about this. Also, am I elemental capped? Yeah, even without the Jewel I am resistance capped for lightning, so it doesn't really matter too much. Other than that, what I've seen is that a lot of people do not have enchant on their helmet for some reason. Guys, a Lab Enchanter costs 5 divines. If you are playing a build like this, get yourself a damn enchant. It is really strong, really good. Then the last thing I think I want to touch on, give me a second. I lost my, where was I? Right, we're using the Jewel. Oh, exactly, the Abyss Jewels. I have seen a lot of Abyss Jewels on different builds that were kinda meh. You can, if you want to invest a little more into the character, go for a chance to avoid being shocked or a chance to avoid bleeding fracture. Especially on the Hypnotic Eye, a chance to avoid shocked fracture is really strong, because with the Reforge attack, there is only 2 mods on the Hypnotic Eye that can roll, and that is avoid bleed and attack speed. So you have a pretty good chance of 10 or 15% of hitting tier 1 bleed And then crafting a bleed plus maximum life jewel is very, very easy. So you can get your double avoidance onto one jewel fairly easily. We kept the avoid to bleed with these implicits and second jewel, which I probably have to like swap out at some point because yeah, I want something better there, but yeah. Other than that, I think this build is pretty much in line with what is known about this character. We're using like the Grand Spectrums, the Solution of Flash, and yeah, pretty much all the known mechanics. Yeah, Glimpse of Chaos double corruptions are fairly easy to make because you can double corrupt them and then roll with Varlops onto them to replace the implicits. This is a lot cheaper than other double corruptions, so this is a pretty good step as an upgrade when you have all the base gear. Yeah, for the other stuff I think it's pretty much very straightforward. The belt is kind of interesting because if you want like the perfect belt, you have to more or less have to fossil spam life and life and attribute fossil and hope to hit tier 1 life, tier 1% life, tier 1 strength and tier 1% attributes in one roll. That's like 1 in 15,000 or something like that. I'm working on that, but like this is the best I could come up with so far. So yeah, still currently working on the belt. For the boots, I would recommend to roll with like, actually you want not to roll on this kind of base. It is much easier to create these boots on a fractured life base. I just haven't been able to like finish this one yet because I was trying to get an elevated percent strength hunter boot base, but I did hit like flat tier 1 strength, so I kept going with that. But if you want to create it on these, I would recommend to use the glyphic fossil, the hollowed fossil, the attribute fossil, how it's called, I'll quickly pick it up here, the fundamental fossil, and, which is very important, the aberrant fossil, because instead of 1 in 4 gaining cannot be poisoned, you pretty much gain it like 75 or 80% of the time. So it is why more expensive, because you have to use prime cardiac resonators. The chance to hit good mods together with cannot be poisoned is a lot higher. And then with the fractured life, you can just finish it up with suffixes cannot be changed ashling into crafted hybrid life or something like that. So the boots currently still are very much up to change because we also don't really need the resistances here. So we're still capped without the boots, so it's kind of a waste to like have these on, really. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to. Okay, well, let me actually check if we are. Yeah, we are more or less kept. I think we are a little under fire, but better gloves would solve that as well. So yeah, I am just rambling here and we'll just finish this up here. If you have any questions about the actual build, feel free to ask in the comments. However, there's very in-depth guides about this character already from other content creators, so I didn't want to like just recreate other guides and just talk about the things that I've tried and thought that are interesting to talk about. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you on the next one.